What is happening, everybody? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Happy to have you guys back. And today, just pretty much want to recap the draft, go over our day 3 picks, our 2 4th rounders, a 6th round pick, and our 2 7th rounders. I'm just going to be going over how well I think they're going to fit on the team, what their roles could be in their first year, and future projections for the team, for the players, and how well I think they're going to contribute in year 1 and the future. So, starting with our first pick in the 4th round, we got Smythe from Notre Dame. With us picking up Mike Gesicki in the 2nd round, and Mike Gesicki being, an ultra-talented pass-catching tight end, a guy who we won't be asking to block much. We went ahead and grabbed one of the best blocking tight ends in the draft, if not the best, in Smythe from Notre Dame. Now, what we got here with Smythe is just like a hard-nosed, classic blocking tight end, especially with the drafting of Gesicki. Getting a guy like Smythe was definitely needed with Gesicki's, pretty horrid run-blocking ability. Smythe has just got the frame, the toughness, and ability to do all the dirty work as a run blocker, and he just gives us that toughness that we really need at that position, especially with getting a finesse tight end like Gesicki. He really does play like an offensive lineman. He's like an extension of the offensive line out there on the field, similar to how Anthony Fasano played for us last year. He's incredibly technically sound as a blocker. His hand placement is just impeccable. Obviously playing with next to guys like McGlinchey and Nelson, that's going to rub off on him. He has just got awesome technique and toughness. He really was an extension of the offensive line at Notre Dame. And, with him being a Notre Dame tight end, they've got a long line of awesome tight ends that have been drafted to the league with, Fasano and Tyler Eifert, to name a few. Smythe, that you're going to get a technically sound tight end that knows how to carry himself out there in the field and knows how to do his job. And that job for him will be, as a run blocker and as a pass blocker, as a tight end. I really can see Gesicki and Smythe getting a lot of snaps together in our 2 tight end sets. And he's just going to be an awesome run blocker for us for years to come. And I can just see that being his role for many years. And he's no slouch when it comes to catching the ball, but that isn't going to be his role with us. He's going to be that hard-nosed run blocker, the guy to do the dirty work, so to allow Gesicki to get out there up the seam and down the sideline. Gesicki will be out there making those highlight reel catches, catching over the top with his 6'6" frame. And Smythe will be there in the trenches, just an extension of the offensive line, the 6th offensive lineman out there, and just a guy just wreaking havoc on the edge, allowing our running backs, Drake, Ballage, Gore, to do what they do. And Smythe is just he's gonna know his role. He's just he's an incredibly cerebral player. He really is like an offensive lineman, and really pumped to see what he can do for us as a rookie, and if his run blocking translates to the league as how well he did at Notre Dame. With our second pick in the 4th round, 131st overall, the Dolphins went ahead and drafted running back Kellen Ballage from Arizona State. This is exactly the running back that I wanted from this draft, like an explosive, dynamic back to pair with Kenyon Drake, a guy that's going to just be that great 1-2 punch with Drake, and it's just going to be just absolutely awesome for this offense. With Ballage, we got a huge back at 6'2", 228 pounds, but he's got the athleticism to match. He moves like a back that's much smaller. He's got similar athleticism to Kenyon Drake. They both ran a 4.4, but he really does remind me a lot of Drake coming out of Alabama, especially watching Drake at Alabama. They got similar traits. They in college, they both like to bounce out to the outside. They were both seen more as in space running backs than in between the tackles. And Ballage, because he's such an explosive and fast athlete, he did have a tendency to bounce out to the other side and shy away from contact at times. But we saw that from Kenyon earlier on in his career. But as we saw from him in the second half of the season, after Jay Ajayi was traded and Damian Williams went down, and Drake was the feature back, he showed that he could be like a powerful runner through the tackles, and a guy that could just he could run through the tackles or around the tackles, and just a versatile athlete that can do it all out there in the field. And that's exactly what I think Ballage is going to develop into. He didn't show like great vision as a runner when running between the tackles. I mean, he'd barely get 5 yards most of the time when running through the tackles. But this is a guy who's going to need some time to develop. He can learn behind Gore and Drake, just learn all the intricacies of the running back position, how to block, how to run behind his blocks, how to know when to bounce it to the outside. But he's a versatile running back, huge at 6'2". I think his best attribute is his ability to catch out of the backfield. Similar to Kenyon Drake, he was an awesome pass catcher as a running back at Arizona State. That was when he was at his most dangerous. And he's also got experience returning kicks. So this is a guy who's he's an explosive, powerful athlete at running back. A guy who's got to learn how to run behind his power, especially being 228 pounds, 230 pounds. He's going to learn from a guy like Gore how to run over dudes, how to use multiple moves to get past defenders, because he was kind of like a one-trick pony in college. He'd rely on his speed just to pretty much get around guys, or on occasion try to run through guys. But as we saw with this Drake, I mean, Drake's got so many moves. He's got like the stutter step, he's got the spin move, he's got the stiff arm. He can run through guys too, Kenyon Drake, and obviously, we've seen that from Frank Gore during his Hall of Fame career. Ballage is just going to learn, all the little tricks of the trade as a running back, and he's just going to develop into that incredible 1-2 punch that I want to see with him and Drake. And this is exactly what I wanted from this draft. I harped on this for months, like how we needed another explosive guy that can just really do it all. And he's just really bringing the full package as a football player. I mean, Kenyon Drake was an awesome kick returner in college, and Ballage was too. So, I mean, it's pretty much clones of each other, just with Ballage being a tiny bit bigger at 6'2" and 230 pounds. What better guy to learn from than Drake? And Ballage, I just can't wait to see what he develops into, man. He's just such a powerfully built athlete. And he can also line up in the slot as a pass catcher, like as a slot receiver. But he is able to slip first tackle attempts after catches in the field. Like, he does a great job of like when he's running like through the tackles, like when he gets handoffs, he doesn't do a good job of just slipping the first defender. But when he catches the ball out of the backfield, that is when he's at his best. That is when he's most dynamic. When he's catching the ball, he does a great job making guys miss on slants, and there's wide receiver drop-offs. But yeah, he needs to learn how to protect better. He needs better technique, similar to how Kenyon Drake was earlier on in his career. But his size does allow him to be effective when taking on blitzes. Some of his weaknesses are his obviously his vision. Like I said, running through the tackles, he kind of rushes. He's way up to the point of attack, doesn't do a good job running behind his offensive linemen. But granted, they didn't have many great offensive linemen at Arizona State, so I can't blame him there. His play did regress a little bit from 2016. In 2016, like, he was just an all-around package. He was running well. I mean, not as great through the tackles, but his catching numbers, and just I think he had like an 88 grade from PFF as a pass catcher, as a running back in 2016. And in 2017, I'm not sure what his grade was, but I could just see on tape he wasn't as effective as a pass catcher. But I am waffling on a bit here, too much about Ballage, but I'm really pumped for what he can turn into. This guy is just a rare athlete at 6'2", 228 pounds, and just really excited what he can develop into. And just it's just going to be an awesome running back room this year with Drake, Frank Gore, and Ballage, and whoever else hangs on with the team, whether it's Davion Smith or Sonoris Perry, whoever. We're going to have 4 dudes that can get it done, and it's just going to be absolutely awesome for the running back room and the offense. And Coach Gase has just got another dynamic running back that can do it all, and a guy that is just going to develop incredibly well. He's got great character on and off the field, and just an absolute marvel physically. So, Kalen Ballage, can't wait to see what we can get from him in the future. I can see him maybe getting in on third down packages. I mean, Kenyon Drake is just awesome on third down. Kenyon Drake can pass block with the best of them. He can catch the ball, but I can see Ballage getting spot duty on third down, and maybe getting some, getting put in to catch the ball on those early downs. Ballage isn't going to play much his first year with Gore and Drake. If one of those guys, touch wood, goes down to injury, I could see, Ballage's role being increased, but he's coming into a perfect opportunity behind Gore and Drake. He's going to have plenty of time to develop, he's just going to be a freak, and I can't wait. Alright, so moving on to our 6th round pick, Cornell Armstrong, 5'11", 180-pound cornerback out of Southern Miss. Not expecting much from him in his first year. Honestly, he's going to compete to make a roster spot, and he's going to have to prove his worth on special teams. I've been trying to find some tape of him, and I haven't found much. I mean, I haven't found many scouting reports either. So he is from a non-Power 5 conference, so that probably explains why he hasn't got that much exposure. He did play 4 years at Southern Miss, and he recorded 5 interceptions, so that isn't much ball production in 4 years. And defended 29 passes in 44 career games, so only 5 interceptions in 44 career games, so obviously not much of a ball hawk. He did take a pre-draft visit with the Dolphins, and he can play either outside or the nickel. Armstrong himself said that he's a physical, competitive, and hard-working guy, and he admits that he models his game after Brent Grimes, so that's a pretty good, talented player to model yourself after. And he said that he's an underdog, who's ready to get to the top. So let's see if he proves that and sticks on the team, either as a depth corner down the line or as a special teams contributor. But we've got some undrafted free agents that I think are going to have much more of an impact than Cornell Armstrong. I'm going to be talking about those guys in another video, maybe at the end of this one. But like Jalen Davis from Utah State, I think he's got much more of a chance on this team. But Cornell Armstrong, a depth guy that can maybe make his impact on special teams. Next, we got Quinton Poling from Ohio. I really love this guy. 6 foot, 235 pounds. He's an incredibly athletic linebacker. He's got tremendous burst and pursuit when tackling and running to the ball. Does a great job when blitzing. I was just incredibly surprised by how athletic he was. Just got incredible speed, and just going to see how he does. I think he's going to be a great special teams player. I mean, he's got that kind of burst and pursuit to the ball. I think he's going to be just tremendous on special teams, and maybe we'll have a role down the line on defense as a linebacker. He did play Mike at Ohio, but I really like this guy. A little bit undersized at 6 foot, 235 pounds, but I think he's going to be fine. He's got the athleticism to match, and I just really was surprised by how athletic he was out there on the field. His play speed, Quinton Poling. Excited to see what he develops into. Definitely a way similar to. He's got a similar build to Mike Howell. They're both 6 foot, 235 pounds, but I think he's got much better athleticism than Mike Howell. He's gonna really have a much better impact in the league than Mike Howell did for us. So Quinton Poling, a great athlete and a linebacker who hopefully can develop into something for us.